gonna go down to Estero Island. It looks like about 50, maybe 60 miles of sailing. The wind vane is steering the boat, doing a fine job. Used the autopilot while I was motoring out. We're done with that now. I'm running downwind now. Pretty rolling motion. I rolled up the jib because we were rocking back and forth too much and I didn't feel like setting up the whisker pole for at night for just an hour. Speed's pretty good. The wind vane's doing great. I was a little worried that there was maybe a little bit too much play in the gears last time I tried it, but I think it's fine. It's holding the course real good on these off the wind courses, which are kind of more difficult to self-steer on. I'll be able to rest a little longer once I get further out into the Gulf, but right now I gotta keep a pretty good watch. I'm sailing through the Punta Gorda Pass now. There's a real strong current, but it's in my favor. It's 2 knots. We're going 7 knots of boat speed, which is pretty sweet. Probably make my way about 10 miles offshore just to give myself some room so I can rest. And in the morning I'll pull into kind of back bay behind Estero Island. Jib is starting to be difficult because we're going off the wind more. I'm going to go ahead and start furling that in. I just cleared the last navigation marker, so I'm gonna come down and go on my 10-minute nap schedule. The boat is crazy rolly right now. Here's the motion. I might have to end up sleeping on the floor tonight because I haven't made my lee cloths yet. That's a cloth that'll kind of hold you in like a crib. That's on my to-do list. I ordered the materials, so once those get here, that'll be the next project. But no big deal, just sleeping on the floor. I can take one of these cushions and put it on there, it'll be nice. Oh, some birds. Made it through the night. Sun's coming up. Wind's died down to about 5 knots. We're still moving, and the wind vane's steering, and the sails are still full, so that's not too bad. I got about 5 more miles before I go through the pass, and then under the bridge, and then I think it'll be maybe an hour motoring up to the spot where I want to try and anchor. So a pretty good day, just going kind of slowly. We're maybe moving along at 2 to 3 knots right now. Nice to have this shade right now, it's very sunny. Slowing down more and more. But we're still moving, so I'm not gonna run the motor. I'm in no real hurry. ends. All right, coming into the back bay. Oh, crash dive. Yikes. Beach there. That is a good looking boat. As I was dropping the anchor, my uncle was waiting here on his fishing boat, so I get a easy ride back to shore. The mast step install begins. I'm anchored at this nice calm spot. It looks like a good place to work. The steps are going to be 18.5 inches apart. I'll be using the winch as the first step. And then the first folding one will go right here. I wish they had built a little bit more of a curve profile into the steps because they kind of sticks off the sides of the mast, but maybe one day I can build a little, like 3D print some backing plates with a curve to them so they fit nicer. But for now, this will work. I'm using 1/4 machine screws, and so I got a bunch of taps. So I got the idea to use some type of anti-corrosion elixir when you're putting stainless steel into aluminum. I'm using Tef gel. It's kind of expensive, but it actually lasts a long time. I've only ever bought this one thing for all my boats. And what you're trying to prevent with this is a lot of times you'll see around where stainless steel meets aluminum. This isn't too bad. There'll be like, you know, pitting and corrosion. The Ranger had pretty bad. Like every time there was, you know, hardware mounted on the mast, there was lots of corrosion. It'll still happen eventually, but it'll just kind of maybe slow it down a little bit. So there's 4 holes on here, but to be honest, I think I'm just gonna do 2 because this seems more than strong enough. And I've got 17 of these to do. Can always drill more later, but I think I'm just gonna do 2 per step for now. There it is, reinstalled with the step. They've got a little plastic screw there that keeps it from jiggling against the mast, so you can kind of wedge it in there. Seems pretty good. Let me stand on it, see if it holds up. Okay, not the most comfortable thing to be barefoot on, but it'll work. A dolphin. So I've got the mast step going all the way up to the spreaders now. This is always a tricky situation, it seems like, when you get up here, because you have these lower shrouds kind of getting in the way, and the next step kind of wants to go about here, but then you can't get, it's hard to get your foot underneath and there's not quite room to go out. So I think I'm gonna lower it just a little bit, and then you can at least maybe get a toe in there and then step up to the shrouds. I think that'll probably be the best solution. I had the same problem on Swedish fish, and it was always that kind of tricky step once you get past here. I've noticed there's quite a bit of variation in the quality of these castings. Like, so this one opens up all the way and seems pretty good, but this one, it like only goes down this far. So we'll see as I get through them how many of them are bad, but I think I'm gonna have to return this because I don't want it. It also doesn't even fold up. Well, I guess it does, but that's a little disappointing. What I want to do at the top is I want to have 2 right next to each other to give myself a nice working platform. I've got all my tools already up there in that bucket. I use a like a Prusik kind of sliding knot to hold myself up while I'm working as a safety backup. And I'm just clipping into a paraglider harness right now. And this purple tether is my, it's like a backup, so I can clip myself onto something up once I'm at the top. Alright, super useful to have a bucket. I think a 3-gallon bucket would be better than a 5-gallon bucket, but this is what I've got. About lined up equal.
all the bird poop up here. Ah, beautiful. So, water's too shallow to jump in here, but that would be fun one day.
Thanks for watching. I've been overall pretty happy with the Mast steps. I think I'd recommend those. If you're interested, I'll put the link in the description. With the exception of that one that doesn't quite close, the rest of them don't seem to really bind up on halyards and stuff too much. I just got back from the Keys trip. It was really fun. I would have liked to stay a little longer, but I had a really nice weather window to get back quickly, so I took it. But I'm gonna head back down there in a few more weeks on my way back up the East Coast. So I'll definitely do a little bit more in-depth exploring then, and till then I should have that video out in a couple of weeks. I'll see you guys next time for more sailing and project videos.